Without any further delay, I'd like to turn today's event. Agile IT and Microsoft present Windows Intune product demo and information. Over to your presenters, Joshua Shea, Microsoft Partner Business Development Manager, Tony Bollinger, Microsoft Windows Intune Business Development Manager, Richard Ruiz, Microsoft Technical Solution Professional, and John Gillum, Principal Consultant at Agile IT. Joshua, you now have the floor.
Thank you, Kathy, and good morning to everybody. I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to hear about the latest and greatest Microsoft online service, Windows Intune. My role as a Partner Business Development Manager is to work with our partner ecosystem, specifically our Cloud Champion Club partners, of which Agile IT is a part of, and helping them connect with our customers to essentially plan, prepare, and deploy our services. One second, I'm going to mute somebody here. And so essentially, we brought you here today to listen in on Windows Intune, and we have some product experts and technical expert on board, as well as John Gillum of Agile IT, who I must say I've been really pleased working with over the past couple of years. He has an extremely strong team, and Agile IT is one of the first partners to market to offer a true Intune and Office 365 professional services offering. They've had some great success. They've got a case study written up, and it's just been a pure joy working with them. So without further ado, I think I'll turn it over to Tony Bollinger, who's going to talk about the business value of Windows Intune. And when she's done, we'll get an opportunity to see a technical demo. So Tony, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Joshua. Welcome, everybody. I'm very excited to be a part of this conversation today. John and team over at Agile IT are very strategic partners for us on the Windows Intune side of the business. And as a business development manager, my charter is to work alongside Joshua as well as our partners to help drive awareness and deployment of Windows Intune, as well as help our customers understand what the service offering is and really just build the business. As Joshua mentioned, Windows Intune is the latest cloud service offering from Microsoft, and I'm at Microsoft Management Summit in Vegas this week, and I'm very excited about some of the announcements that were made this week, actually this morning at MMS, and I'd like to make sure that everyone checks out the MMS homepage. If you bing MMS 2012, you can get a view of the keynote session and see some of the things that we talked about around our next release of Intune. I'll talk a little bit about that during our conversation today as well, but let's jump into what the Windows Intune service offers today as well as tomorrow. So first, I'd like to start off with a slide that showcases some of the things that most of you are probably struggling with within your organization. We keenly understand that companies today are struggling with the changes in the market around highly mobile users, doing more with less, understanding and grasping, do I allow users to bring in their own devices, the BYOD strategy that many companies are trying to take advantage of and really understand and manage. Do I allow users to bring in their own devices, their own iPads or laptops? How do I manage them? How do I mitigate the risk associated with those devices that may not be highly managed or highly touched by IT today? All of these things we're very well aware of, and all of these things are the reason why we built Windows Intune. So Windows Intune essentially is a cloud service built in the cloud. We didn't acquire an organization, and we didn't take on-premise infrastructure and put it in the cloud. The System Center engineers that build our on-premise solutions today are the engineers that build Windows Intune. So I would agree that, or I would think that many of you would agree that all of these things, or one of these things that are challenging to IT organizations are things that you're keenly aware of, and we're going to talk about how we can address one, if not all of these problems with the Intune service. So today, Microsoft is uniquely positioned to develop and deploy and offer to our customers a unique set of solutions that allows them to decide how do we embrace technology and leverage on-premise solutions or take advantage of the cloud and create a more agile way for us to manage and approach our users with technology. So you'll notice on the left-hand side there's black boxes that highlight the technologies that we build and offer to our customers today. And all these technologies can be built and deployed on-premise, but there's complementary solutions that we also develop that allow organizations to offer a cloud service, creating a more agile way to approach and deploy technology, minimize the risk associated with buying and supporting on-premise infrastructure. And so if you look at the bottom right-hand side, System Center, which is an solution from Microsoft, has a complementary solution in the cloud, which is Windows Intune. Now, we're uniquely positioned to be able to provide all of these offerings because we invest billions of dollars in our infrastructure that deliver our cloud services. Unfortunately, the slide is not rendering very well, but our cloud services today are being consumed by 50% of the Fortune 500 customers today. And over 58% of CIOs select the Microsoft Cloud and will continue to grow that base as well as continue to grow the investment in the cloud. In 2014, IDC predicts that most software acquisitions will be software as a service, so a cloud service. So this is where the industry is moving towards, and we're very happy to be a part of a team that's delivering a unique way to manage and secure and deploy software through the cloud. So let's talk about what Intune actually delivers. Here's the slide I was looking for earlier. So as I mentioned, I'm at MMS today, and we announced the next release of Windows Intune, which we are calling Wave C. It's due to launch in the next 2 months or so. I highly encourage those of you attending this meeting to go to this web link and view the keynote, which really summarizes what Wave C will comprise of within Intune and how we're addressing the end user specifically and empowering IT to give the end user the ability to manage and get access to productivity solutions through Windows Intune in the cloud. Okay, let's go through this slide. I apologize. Okay, so many of the challenges that organizations deal with in the first slide around bringing in your own devices and how do I manage antivirus software? How do I make sure that my users are getting the things that they need at the right time? All of those things are challenges that IT faces, but in addition to those specific scenarios, there's actual situations that result in all of those challenges. Many of you probably have distributed workers or even distributed offices, which tend to be very difficult to get insight into those users. What types of tools can you use to pull information around inventory or applications that are being used? Maybe there's compatibility issues that are causing stability problems. How do you understand and get that information? And having distributed workers is a big challenge that many organizations face. How do you ensure that security is up to date and deployed to end users? The consolidation of many technologies to address this distributed environment around the PC is consolidated into Intune. And so we'll talk about what that feature set does and how we can mitigate some risk associated with all of this distributed nature that you're currently facing. How do you know with 100% clarity what is running on an end device if that person has not connected to VPN? Maybe you don't have a VPN. Maybe you're using individuals to gather that information. Let's create some efficiencies there, and we'll talk about how Windows Intune addresses that. In order to get high touch and lots of information from end users, it typically requires lots of infrastructure. And so the cloud offers a unique way to offset the investment and the maintenance of infrastructure by offering the cloud through an internet connection to do all of the things that need to be done to manage PCs and distributed users. So on the right-hand side, you'll see Intune is going to, at a very high level, manage and secure PCs, provides you with the ability to standardize on the latest operating system. Windows Intune is called Windows Intune because a key part of the service offering is the ability to get access to Windows 7 Enterprise as part of the licensing. So for those of you that don't subscribe to software assurance for your Windows platform today from Microsoft, Intune is going to provide you with that software assurance, which equates to a subscription to Windows 7 and beyond. So when Windows 8 launches, that upgrade capability will be built into the service, and you'll be able to deploy Windows 8 to your end users. And the great thing about Agile IT is they have a healthy practice that allows and enables the deployment of an optimized desktop solution. And so their individual consultants can help you create a path to get to Windows 7 and Windows 8 when it is released. So minimal risk and minimal investment from a company perspective to get into Intune, because literally within hours you can get your users up and running and not have to invest in the infrastructure to be able to do that. So a combination of management and security, as well as the ability to get access to the Windows 7 Enterprise operating system, are the two key components that Intune delivers today and will continue to deliver upon in the future. So let's dive into the actual feature set of Windows Intune. So first and foremost, to the right, you're going to see all of the features that we provide as part of the Intune service. To the left, you're going to see from a roadmap perspective what we're trying to do. So the strategy for Intune is to provide our customers with an aggressive roadmap with a release cadence of every 6 months. As a subscriber to Windows Intune, you will benefit from the latest feature set, major feature set, delivered from Microsoft. So every 6 months, you're going to have new features built into the service. Wave C is obviously our next release. And as a subscriber, once that release is made available to our customers, you will log into your console and you'll reap the benefit of all of those new features. So you don't have to add any infrastructure, and there's very little training, so the risk is minimal when leveraging Windows Intune. So the feature set to the right showcases how we consolidate multiple technologies into one service. So first and foremost, antivirus is built into the Intune service offering. So based on our forefront endpoint protection, which is our enterprise-grade antivirus and malware, that is a part of the Intune service. And many customers see this as a benefit because now McAfee or Symantec, which is a separate solution that needs to be licensed and managed, can be basically taken out of the environment and replaced with Windows Intune and the forefront protection that we offer. Windows updates as well as third-party updates are also consolidated into the Intune service. So basically, if you're using WSUS or some other technology to deliver updates, Intune is going to manage that and pull that into a single pane of glass for you to push out to your end users and create policies around how those updates are pushed out to those end users. An example would be if you're running some XP as well as some Windows 7 Enterprise, you now have the ability to eliminate the XP updates and push only the relevant updates to the end user rather than pushing out a whole bunch of updates that really don't matter to that end device. The distribution of software is probably one of the best features that our customers take advantage of. Anything that is a .exe or .msi application can be uploaded into the Intune cloud service and distributed to anyone who's connected to Intune around the world. And we have quite a few customers today who are just using this feature to reach global remote sites. Let's say you have a new office that you're building out in Thailand, as an example. Rather than having to light up the infrastructure and the support resources in that remote location, Intune now can connect to those end users and push out those applications very seamlessly. So this is probably one of the most commonly used and highly respected feature sets as the Intune service delivers. Remote assistance is also offered as part of the Intune service in the sense that if you've got an end user that's having some trouble or having some issues on their end device, the end user can create a service request, and once that service request is accepted by IT, IT can now get visibility into that end user device and troubleshoot and help mitigate any problems and help fix any of the issues that that end user is experiencing. So once again, collapsing an additional tool that IT may be using, which is remote assistance. The ability to create monitoring and alerts around monitoring activities is also something that Intune delivers. We have over 149 things that can be monitored, things like low disk space, critical application failures. And as an IT organization, you can create alerts around those monitoring activities and get an email or a text message sent to you when some issue arises that you consider to be high risk. So monitoring and alerts are all a part of the service and can be configured by IT as well. Read-only administration can be deployed out as well to mitigate any issues that end users may get themselves into. So rather than creating problems at the end device, IT can restrict some of those actions and create a read-only environment for that endpoint. Full hardware and software inventory reporting is pulled within seconds, and Rich will show you a demo of what that looks like. But being able to pull up hardware associated with individuals, as well as Microsoft software and third-party software that's running on those devices, is a part of the service and can be exported out into a CSV file and viewed and pulled into any sort of reporting that you do today to manage that inventory asset management lifecycle. License management is another component of Intune, so now you can be able to get visibility into the licensing that you currently subscribe to and ensure that you're always up to date. And that holds true for Microsoft licensing as well as third-party licensing. If you subscribe to a Microsoft Volume Licensing Agreement, you can input those agreement numbers, get visibility into what you're subscribing to, and make sure that you're maximizing that agreement. So for example, if you've purchased 200 seats of Office 2010 and you input that into the license management console within Intune, now you can make sure that, I've only deployed 50 seats of my 200. Let's make sure I can maximize that and push that out to my end users. And oh, by the way, Intune is going to allow you to push that Office application out to those end devices as well. Being able to set security policies around firewall is also a part of the service, as well as being able to set policy around endpoint protection and the Windows Intune agent deployment settings. And Rich will show you that in the demo as well. And then lastly, being able to run on-demand malware scans and reboots remotely is something that Intune offers today. So if there's a virus that hits the internet and you want to make sure that all of your users are covered, you can quickly run a malware scan and make sure that nothing has hit those end users and make sure that those definition updates are updated. Now, to the left, you'll see that the roadmap shows that we're going to offer in the service an equivalency with what you can do today on-premise. And so today at MMS, we announced some of the new features that Intune is delivering in Wave C. And I want to highlight the fact that, number one, we're going to take the things that are important to IT organizations today from a management and security perspective around the end user interface and make sure that Intune delivers those capabilities. So we're not going to take every single feature that an on-premise solution like System Center offers today and put that in the cloud, but we're going to take the smart features and the things that IT organizations tend to do on-premise and make sure that they're available in the cloud. So an example of that would be in today's economy and in today's market, many organizations are struggling with the various types of devices that end users are bringing into the organization, iPads, iPhones, Android devices. And so we announced today at MMS that Intune in our next version will support the management of smartphone devices, multi-platform, so all of the devices I just highlighted, as well as Windows Phone, will be able to be managed by IT through Intune, and things like being able to deploy software out to those clients are also going to be a part of the Intune service in Wave C. So once again, taking a look at the things that IT organizations struggle with today and delivering a service model that allows you to harness the power of the cloud and address the challenges is what Intune is going to continue to do in the coming months. So once again, check out the keynote session to get a full view of what the management of mobile devices will look like in Wave C, and hopefully Agile IT will be able to show that to you as you start to subscribe and get a good feel of what Intune can offer to you today within your organization. So very quickly, the areas where Intune is a fit is in these 6 categories. Every organization has issues around non-domain joined PCs. How do I manage them? How do I acquire a new organization and cover those users? And so these are the areas where Intune really is a good fit because we can very quickly get connectivity to those end devices and provide them with all the features that I highlighted in the slides previously. If you're throwing up a new office in a remote location, how do you extend out the infrastructure to be able to touch that office? Well, Intune is going to very easily and very quickly within hours allow you to do just that. So if you have any of these scenarios within your environment, Intune is definitely going to help you very quickly get access to those endpoints. This slide very quickly just highlights what our on-premise solution offers today, which is System Center, and what Intune offers. So there's definitely some overlap. And so being able to pick up on the left from a very quick and easy way to address PCs, all the things that on-premise infrastructure can do today, but may have a challenge. Maybe there's very little connectivity, or maybe it's just too expensive to extend out that infrastructure. Intune is going to do all of the things where we have a green checkbox. You'll notice I included the Wave C checkboxes towards the top, and we'll continue to improve upon this and make sure that all the things that can be done on the right in a smart way will be also addressed via Intune in the cloud. So what are customers using Intune for? So let's talk about a customer that Agile IT has today, which is the California Strawberry Commission. They're an organization who struggled with quite a few things. Things like, how do we get updates out to our remote users? They had quite a few distributed mobile users that IT was just really struggling with in delivering security, making sure that their devices are stable, and that their devices have the things that they need to be productive, whether it be software or security updates or even antivirus in general. And so the California Strawberry Commission worked alongside Agile IT to deploy Intune and deliver some of the things that they really were having issues with. And they truly partnered with Agile IT in the sense that Strawberry Commission did have a minimal IT staff, but they just couldn't scale, and they couldn't deliver all of the things that they needed to deliver to those end users. So Agile IT actually helped them deliver the services to be able to manage those devices better, save time, and create efficiencies within the IT workforce, and at the end of the day, save them some money. And so this is a great example of how we consolidated various services and various technologies into one and created some true efficiencies and cost savings for a real customer today. So that's one example of what is being leveraged by the California Strawberry Commission. We also have another case study where you've got a truly global workforce that Save the Children employs. Now, we've got people that are traveling around the world at disaster recovery sites, and for IT to be able to keep those users up to date and in a stable environment, Intune was the way for them to do that. And so they've got about 5,000 people around the world that are being managed through Intune. They've reduced costs for separate solutions like antivirus and consolidated those into one environment. And so Save the Children is another example of how Intune is really helping consolidate, save money, and create efficiency around the end device. So very quickly, this is the licensing and pricing overview, and Agile IT can certainly walk you through this and provide you with some information around how the licensing is addressed through Intune. But at a very high level, they can provide you with the licenses for Intune that's going to deliver the Windows 7 component as well as the management features. And so I would definitely contact Agile IT for that. And we obviously are a worldwide cloud service, so we touch pretty much every country around the world, and we'll continue to build out the service offering internationally as well. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Rich, who's going to go over the Windows piece of Windows Intune and how you can really create a great desktop strategy and harness the power of Windows 7 Enterprise. And Agile IT has a great offering that really helps you deploy it in an efficient way and bring some expertise to the table to understand the full power of Windows 7. So I'll turn it over to Rich.
All right, thank you, Tony. Great. Okay, so I just want to start out the market for our partners and for our customers right now for upgrading to Windows 7 Enterprise. Right now, there's 650 million enterprise users or corporate users that are not yet on Windows 7, and the reasons for that are varied, but really, without exception, it's really not harnessing a desktop strategy and getting to a modern desktop that go ahead and continue here. Some of the Intune is not just a management.
I apologize. It appears we're having some audio difficulties. Please bear with us while we get that corrected.
So you want to talk in that one?
Okay. One of the things of a desktop strategy that you really need to keep in consideration is that it consists of a management and platform, and a lot of folks are trying to solve their issues with just a management solution. What we're really seeing is you really need to have both. So what you get with the SKU is Windows 7 Enterprise, which includes things like direct access, branch cache, and access to the desktop optimization pack. Okay, so from a pain-led discussion, really what you what you can do is there, I have a laundry list on this slide of cool things you can do with the Intune SKU. Maybe some of them you may have heard of, maybe some of them you haven't. I'm just going to go really quickly through here. Some things you can do is create stateless applications. A lot of folks are right now trying to remove local admin in their Windows 7 deployment. There are many ways to deploy Windows 7. What's the right way? What has Microsoft seen across the customers with the most successful Windows 7 deployments? And really, that's what we've seen is folks that are using AbbVie as part of their desktop strategy have abstracted their applications from the operating system and from each other so that you can create a dynamic environment. Some other things that you may not be able to do, and I'm just going to highlight a couple. Only allow approved applications. You can use application whitelisting and blacklisting. You can use inventory, which is based on asset intelligence, which is based on categories of applications. You can quickly recover and remote control an unbootable PC, and most folks are not aware of that. So let's say, for example, someone's in Europe and they call you and they say, you know what, I can't get into my machine, it's blue screening. The typical remedy for that would be, well, you know what, I'm going to send you this PC and then you could send it back, maybe reload the operating system, reload my applications, get my user state back somehow. With the Windows Intune SKU there, you get access to the Dart, which actually can be installed on the local image of a Windows 7 machine, and you can just boot to a recovery partition, and directly from your desk, you can remote control that downed PC and boot into a Windows recovery environment. So it's the classic decision is do I take the time to fix it or do I reload the machine? So this really cuts down, makes that decision a lot easier. And it makes it a lot easier to fix it even remotely if the machine has malware that's preventing even the machine from booting up. Okay, and with that, for the sake of time, I'm going to jump into Windows Intune demo. So a lot of the things that I just talked about are on the platform side, on the Windows 7 Enterprise. Now we're going to go on the Windows Intune side, which is also included. Okay, let me go ahead and share out my desktop here, and let's see if this works okay. Okay. All right. So this is a dashboard. If you sign up for the trial, if you sign up for the trial, you're actually going to get a different dashboard than if you have multiple customers under your management. Okay. And I'm just going to wait for this to load. Okay. Apparently it's loaded. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. So these are 4 different customers that are under my management. I'm going to go ahead and double click into Blue Yonder, one of my customers. All right. So this is the dashboard, and keep in mind everything that you're seeing here is all cloud-based. All right. So here's a system overview page. This actually reports all of my entire environment, my entire Windows Intune environment for this particular customer. And this is going to give me some general information. For instance, my endpoint protection, my status. So I don't necessarily need an on-prem solution that can monitor my endpoints as far as for malware, for antivirus, and that kind of stuff. It goes directly to the Microsoft Cloud. But below, you can see your agent health issues. So any agents that haven't responded in a set number of hours they're going to show up here. And if your agent health goes sideways on a machine, we'll know about it pretty quickly. When Windows Intune is designed, is designed from the ground up to be very resilient. We haven't had many issues with agent health, but it's just nice to know that if there are a lot of issues, we'll know about it very quickly. And as far as software goes, I can deploy software for Microsoft's global network of Windows Update. Windows Update really is the largest web service in the world. And we have fingers of network connectivity into every country in the world. Everybody in the world is every country in the world is running Windows Update. So we give you the power to leverage our existing network infrastructure. All built on Windows Azure with built-in resiliency, built-in failovers, and that kind of stuff. You don't have to redouble your efforts and to reinvent the wheel by putting distribution points all around the globe, right? If maybe you just have 3 or 4 users in an agent facility, does it make sense to stand up a deployment server out there? It may or may not. You have the choice to decide now. As far as updates, think of the Windows Update portion of Intune as WSUS in the cloud. So that Intune in this case is acting as a broker between the cloud and your clients. All right. As far as policies, it's pretty difficult to deploy a GPO to a home user. I think you'd all agree. So what we did is we had to build a separate policy engine to deploy to home machines. All right, and this right here will show your report, whether anything's done out of policy or remains in policy. Okay, let me go ahead and click on the Computers tab. All right. So the first time you actually install the Intune agent on a machine, all of your clients, it's based on certificates, are going to report up into the unassigned containers. Now, in the version of Intune that was announced today, all of this can be dynamic by integrating with Active Directory. If you're familiar with Office 365, you're familiar with the dirt sync operation. Where there's a one-way actually read from Active Directory where you can import your users, you can import your groups, and you can create these based on those. All right. in this version that we're demonstrating today, you can click on Computer Unassigned category and drag and drop them into basically these computer groups. Now, these are not yet dynamic groups based on collections like you would see in SCCM, where you can build dynamic queries. However, you can build them query as far as the DirSync and the Office 365 paradigm, where there's a one-way read from Active Directory. Okay, but it's not like you can say automatically assign Windows 7 to this particular group yet. All right. Now, folks can also belong into separate groups. So let's say you have a home office user that happens to be in also the LAX facility. I can drag and drop them to both groups, and they'll inherit the policies and the applications that you've assigned to each one of those. Now, as far as the update goes, if you're familiar with WSUS, this will look very similar. Critical updates, security updates. I can create auto approve rules, all the things that you're used to doing in WSUS. You can do in Windows Intune, including non-Microsoft updates. So I can update any of your third-party applications using the same GUI, the same workflows, the same back-end processes that you would as if this were on-prem. Right. Don't forget that Windows Intune does come with endpoint protection, and you can manage the malware here. You can force updates. You can force scan engine updates. You can enforce reboots and that kind of stuff directly from this tab right here. And Windows Microsoft Security Essentials is the same engine that we use here as Windows Intune endpoint protection. And it's also the same engine as our Forefront endpoint protection or the System Center endpoint protection 2012. It's the same engine. It's the most deployed antivirus, anti-malware in all of North America, so it gives us a lot of ears to the ground to make sure that you guys are getting the right telemetry back. All right. A couple more things as far as alerting goes. Intune doesn't just manage, but it also alerts. So there's proactive alerting to say, maybe I want to know if a service, or maybe I want to know if it's running out of disk space, if there's a driver change, if it's throwing errors to the event log. I can forward that to me. I can have it send me a text. So it actually uses the operations manager client. It's very robust. We're really looking at innovating in future releases with these alerts. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to go too far into software deployment and inventory. But as we're going to go into detected software here. You can actually see, based on category, all the different software that's installed in your environment. Okay, so let me just highlight the category, sort by category. I can see what browsers are in my environment, what versions. Maybe I just want to see what games are in my environment. I can see, okay, well, I've got 3 games entertainment. I can scroll over here, and I could just see that easily without knowing ahead of time what games I'm actually looking for. I can, we actually have Microsoft librarians that are doing that categorization, the normalizing of the data for the publisher name, all that kind of stuff, including just the title. So in some cases, you may say Microsoft SQL Server 2005. In some cases, it might say SP1. It may say SP2, SP3. We actually can roll them up by title to simplify your reporting. And then as far as managed software, we manage software that Intune is actively pushing out or can uninstall. Okay, so say for example, I install an application. I can just click or upload, and that's going to upload my application to the Microsoft Update servers. So now that just uploads. I can click on the deploy button. And you'll notice that this also does look a lot like WSUS. Right? We want to leverage your existing skill set and you can manage your deployment from here. So let's say I just want to install this. I don't want to install this on home offices. Everybody but home offices. I can also click on deadline, so I can say create a custom deadline, so install by certain date. I can also do that. All right. And there's another thing I can do to manage agreements is I can add an agreement here, and I can do it by volume license, or I can say other software. If I do licensing, I can put in my Microsoft agreement pairs, and I can and it'll automatically rationalize what I have installed versus what I have licensed by Microsoft. We also have third-party support, other software, and add your Adobe agreements also. All right. And just to wrap up very quickly, we also have policies that are available to deploy. Let me click on policies. I can say create a new policy and create my an Intune agent settings, and this is going to create a policy that can test my refresh cycle. Okay, so let me just scroll down to the bottom and show you some interesting stuff here. I can set you know what, update and detect new applications every 8 hours. Maybe that's too often. I just want to say, you know what, check them twice a day, or maybe check them every 24 hours. I can increase that or decrease that as I need to. I can also set a maintenance window here. So install updates, every day at 3 a.m. That's when my folks. I can be sure that they're not online, and that's locally evaluated. So it's not 3 a.m. globally at one time. It's 3 a.m. as evaluated by the local system time. All right. A couple other things. If network bandwidth is a consideration, we actually use bits. So you could just turn on your bits service and say, you know what, I'm going to limit this to 10 kilobits from 8 to 5. Outside of that, it's going to use all available bandwidth. If you have an important software update, you can say just use all available bandwidth. All right. Now with that, I'm just going to close this, and I want to just show you a little bit of what we announced today at MMS. Let me pull this up. I've just got a quick deck that's going to show kind of what our thinking is in the future of Intune and SCCM and where we are today. What's coming up? I'm just gonna talk to it. Really, the future waves that we're looking at releasing every 6 months have different themes. Really, what our main goal is to light up Windows Enterprise, support businesses of any size. So whether you have 10,000 seats or 100,000 seats, we want to be able to manage it with Intune. We want to simplify. We've really heard that from customers. As, you know what, SCCM is great. I just don't have the time to invest in learning the UI, in learning all the complexities. We want to just have something simple that I just click a few buttons and I'm done. I don't have to manage servers. I don't have to manage hierarchies of servers. So that's another pillar of where we want to go. Another pillar is really empowering the information worker. So empowering end users really takes the load off of IT, lets IT to operate as a service-based provider, excuse me, rather than a reactive system integrator. All right, and we also want to go multi-platform, as Tony mentioned. With that, as far as SCCM goes, right now the fit is specific scenarios. So for our largest users, it's the hard to reach scenarios. Going forward in future releases, we really want to manage the vast majority of enterprise users' devices. And when I say devices, I don't mean just Windows PCs. I mean Windows PCs and every other device that you can imagine, like iOS and Android and Symbian and basically all of the operating systems that are out there. We want a unified console. And with that's kind of our management side. So we talked about the platform side and the management side. And with that, I want to hand it over to my friend John Gillum, who can actually make all of this stuff real in your environment.
Thank you so much, Richard, and I'm excited to learn about the new features. And mobile device management is finally out, so no more expensive third-party add-ons to your Exchange infrastructure, and of course that will be compatible with both your on-premise and Office 365 based mailboxes. So really exciting there. So we're just going to take about 5-10 minutes to talk about the Agile IT offerings of how we can enable your organization with Intune and Office 365. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about, and with Windows XP support expiring in just a few hundred days now, we have a fixed price solution, and basically it creates a automated Windows 7 desktop that's optimized, and we kind of throw in a little bit of our magic sauce to leverage the Intune's perpetual Windows 7 license. So it's a combination, just like Office 365, of software on your rich client, which would be Windows in this case, or Office 365 has the Office Professional Suite, and then the service to manage, maintain, and collaborate stored on the Microsoft Cloud. So this actually takes the upgrading of Windows XP or Vista and helps automate the process for you. So we deploy Windows 7 via either Pixie Boot on your on-premise network, or you'll get a USB key with your customized image, drivers, hardware models, etc., to deploy for your remote offices. It does include core applications that, through our managed services that we consider are, not unique to all organizations. So that would include things like Adobe Reader or even Java, to really not require the IT pro to have to add those solutions separately. We do have, for your line of business applications, different levels based on how much effort is required to really get you up if maybe an application isn't quite ready and it's still on Windows XP mode. We can help use some of the application virtualization technologies like AppD included in the Intune suite to help mitigate that and get you up on a secure, modern operating system. So that type of solution, just the base Windows 7, we can get you up and running for as little as $5,000. It takes about a week, and we limit it to about 3 hardware models, and we'll show you how to do more. But this is a great way to get you to upgrade not only your settings of your Windows XP, but format the machine, copy up all the profile settings, and then bring down Windows 7 image, reload it up, and then bring down your user settings. So it's quite a sophisticated process that makes upgrading to Windows 7 really easy. This kind of parallels with our Office 365 Agile Ascend solution. And so this focuses on our fixed price email migration. And you can talk to an Agile IT sales rep if you want some more information on that. For next steps on Intune, Microsoft is kind of has a special offer out called the Intune Taste Test. This does expire at the end of May, and so if you're an eligible organization, so it's corporations and charities, we can give you a free 1-year demo of Intune, so just contact sales at Agile IT to get you set up. But even if you're a larger organization, government, we'll definitely give you the proof of concept in a 30-day trial, which is available for everyone. But the 1-year trial is targeted at specific organizations right now. And so if you want to see this live and have one of our Intune experts walk you through, we'd be happy to do that. So just a little more about Agile IT. We really focus it on Office 365 migrations and getting customers up to the cloud. And then as soon as they're up to the cloud with the core Microsoft applications, they're really looking to enable more functionality where they don't have to manage, maintain it, and get those features at a very rapid release cycle. We were involved with Microsoft System Center Essential pilots, which is an on-premise application, and really helped work with the product team to let them know that we needed a cloud solution. And it's very exciting to have not only the perpetual Windows 7 license so we can keep our customers up to date. There's no more budgeting issues to get you on the latest OS. And as Tony mentioned, Windows 8 is just around the corner, and it's included, the enterprise version that we can encrypt the hard drives using non-third-party tools and really make sure we wrap compliance, which is spreading to more and more businesses. So I did want to, again, thank you for your time today. I'm going to turn it over to Kathy to go ahead and close. And again, please contact us at sales@Agile IT if we can help you in any way with a demo. Kathy.
Great. Thank you, John. I'd like to thank Tony, Joshua, Richard, and John for presenting today. Again, John has left the information on how to contact them, and we do appreciate your participating and listening today. We will be staying in the link window. If you would like to stay in and ask questions via the chat window, we will be staying on for another 15 or so minutes, and that would be great. So thank you very much.